Oh boy, what a full circle moment. How's everybody doing? We're hanging in there? Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being here tonight, and thank you to the organizers for creating this space to reflect on where we've been, where we're going, and how we're reshaping democracy to finally include the people that it has historically left behind. It's powerful that we're gathered here under the name Lift Every Voice, as we know, a direct reference to the groundbreaking work of Lani Guinier. Lani Guinier was a brilliant legal mind, a civil rights strategist, and someone who pushed our country to think differently about what real representation looks like. And in the early 90s, she was nominated to lead the Civil Rights Division of the U.S. Department of Justice. She was eminently qualified, no question about it, but her nomination was withdrawn. And not because of any scandal or lack of experience, but because her ideas challenged the political establishment. She was deeply critical of winner-take-all, single-member district systems that dominate elections in the United States. And she saw how it excluded communities of color, undermined coalition building, and hardened racial and political divisions. So she proposed something better, a system of proportional representation that would allow cohesive communities, whether defined by race, class, or shared interests, to actually elect people who reflect them. She called it proportionate interest representation, and it wasn't just theory. She grounded her ideas in real-life examples. One of those examples was in Peoria, Illinois, a mid-sized American city that adopted a system called cumulative voting for its city council elections. And in Peoria, voters had multiple votes they could distribute however they wanted, including giving all of their votes to a single candidate. And this gave communities who might otherwise be shut out of representation a way to organize and elect candidates of their choice. And it worked. It led to more diverse and inclusive outcomes, and it's exactly the kind of structural innovation that Lani believed could strengthen, not weaken, our democracy. Her vision was clear. Democracy shouldn't just be about access to the ballot. It should be about meaningful power, about systems designed to reflect the real diversity of our communities and allow more people to lead. But instead of engaging with her ideas, national leaders chose to sideline her. What could have been a transformational appointment, bringing civil rights leadership into the heart of the Justice Department, was shut down before it began. And if we're being honest, that story is just too familiar. Because when Black women in particular push the envelope in American politics, when we advocate for structural change instead of surface-level reform, we're often met with resistance, not recognition. And still, Lani Guinier's ideas have endured. So fast forward to Portland and take you a little bit back in 2024. Because in 2020, I actually ran for city council under the exact kind of system that Lani critiqued. At large, winner-take-all, citywide campaigns that favored wealth, name recognition, and insider networks. I ran as a young Latina, daughter of immigrants, a renter, an educator, and a longtime community organizer. And despite building real grassroots energy, we came up short. Because the system wasn't built for candidates like me. It was built to consolidate power in the hands of a few. Losing that race was hard, but not really personally, but because I knew what kind of leadership that I was bringing to the table and how many people I knew in our community that were hungry for that kind of change. But I also knew it wasn't about me. It was about the system. So when I was appointed to Portland's Charter Review Commission, I carried that experience with me, and I knew how the barriers to access show up, not just in campaign finance, but in language access, district lines, and in the way that we define political viability. And on that commission, we had the rare opportunity to ask big questions. What kind of democracy do we really want? Who is it for? And how do we rebuild it so that the people most impacted by decisions are the ones helping to make them in the first place? So, as you know, we proposed bold reforms, moving to district-based representation, implementing proportional ranked choice voting, and modernizing the way our city is governed to ensure accountability and transparency. And when we brought that vision to the voters, they said yes, thank God. So then bring it back to 2024, I ran again, but this time in a district that includes my own neighbors, my own community. And under the new system, I didn't have to be everyone's first choice. I just had to be a real choice. I didn't have to raise hundreds of thousands of dollars. I didn't have to appeal to the entire city. I just had to show up with integrity, build coalitions, and connect with people on the issues that actually matter. And this time, we won. Yay! Not just me, we. This new system allowed for multiple communities to elect leaders who reflect them. And that's exactly what happened. Our new city council looks more like Portland than ever before. And it's not perfect. It's not perfect. But it's a hell of a lot closer than what we had before, so we'll take that. This is the kind of democracy that Lani Guinier spent her life advocating for. She didn't live to see this chapter, but we are living proof that her ideas were never too radical. They were simply ahead of their time. And to everyone in this room, organizers, legal advocates, democracy reformers, storytellers, strategists, you are all pushing us toward what's next. What we did in Portland is part of something bigger, because what's happening here, or what happened here, isn't isolated. It's part of a growing national recognition that our electoral systems are not sacred, and that we have the right and the responsibility to redesign them. We've proven here in Portland that bold, justice-driven reform is not only possible, it's what our communities are hungry for. And we don't have to accept systems that silence us. We can redesign them to reflect who we are and what we value. The work we're doing is not just local. It's part of a larger movement toward a multiracial democracy that delivers on its promises. So let's keep going. Let's build coalitions. Let's push boundaries. Let's lift every voice, not just in name, but in practice. Because the future of our democracy doesn't belong to the loudest or the most possible. It belongs to the rest of us, but only if we're willing to claim it. Thank you.